Hello, my dear friends. You certainly may be asking me if there is something good in Russia. I'm just talking only about the shitty, the bad parts of Russia. Certainly, there are just some good things about it. And just for instance, is this Novosibirsk theater of opera and ballet. This building is really very magnificent, and you see some people are getting married here. Look, so this building attracts people. The architectural construction of this building is very similar to the ancient Rome construction of Coliseum. Well, but my dear friends, do not get deluded. All Russia is the same. There are buildings like this building are just constructed only in 3 towns of Russia. There are only 3 towns that are just civilized. It's Moscow, St. Petersburg and Novosibirsk. The other towns of Russia are just a piece of shit, are just simple, just backgrounded villages. There are only 3 towns in Russia. 3 towns in Russia. Just imagine how little is it. Look, this building is very great. I just adore it. It's incredibly magnificent. So, but you may imagine how small Russia is, how very little of civilization and little of something supposed to be towns are in Russia, because the 99% of Russia is village, and this is just the really rare thing. Such buildings, it's just some exotic things that some buildings just exist really, and it's like, why such theaters really very rarely exist in Russia? Just because there are just very few people who would go to theaters, ballet or like something like that, because the majority are just alcohol drinkers that are just not interested in culture. If you want to be culturized, something like that, you just cannot be culturized in just in towns where you live, because there is no such things in ordinary towns. In ordinary towns, it's not. I would just be mistaken if I call these towns, these backgrounded towns, village-like towns. In village-like towns, such buildings never exist. So the majority of people are just spending their times sitting on the benches and drinking beer. So, and even this building in a decline. So there is not so many people who want to visit theaters and this ballet, because it's like things that are not that cattle-like people found not very amusing. And this is the front part of the theater, and the back part of it is being under repairing. So in the back of this building, there are some repair works being proceed. So now let's talk about Novosibirsk. In Novosibirsk, it's such a rare thing for Russia. There is an underground, and in the whole Russia, there, as I told you, there are just 3 towns with underground: Novosibirsk, Moscow and St. Petersburg. Maybe there is one more town, but I really doubt. No, I haven't heard about it. Only 3 towns like with civilization. I just now very what's that called? What's that word? I'm just fighting for the word. Very surprised, not surprised, but bewildered maybe. That I'm just shocked. Yes, shocked. But no, there is some other word. Okay, let's pass it by. I'm just really shocked how small Russia is. I've been traveled through the whole Russia, and this is very depressing, because you may just hardly find in the whole Russia these pieces of civilization. And Novosibirsk is certainly a very big town, but this cultural place, this little spot of civilization, is too tiny, because the whole town is just, we like go there is slums, there is just something like skyscraper. Wow. And for Russia it's like, wow, a skyscraper, wow. And somewhere back here are slums starting. Well, it's like, it's really like the ancient Rome, where there is the Coliseum, and behind it the stupid slums. So I wish really there would be a Coliseum in Russia like in ancient Rome, so some criminals would fight each other and just amuse crowds. So why not? I think, why just not force criminals, some really odious criminals, fight each other to death? I think it would be fair. We just now open to the death execution, but why should not this execution turn into some like show that people would see and would just be amused by it? So why not? It's really good, I think. Just imagine some criminals, like some pedophiles, some killers are just fighting each other with swords to death. That would be really. Some may say, oh, it's cruel thing. Oh, really? It's not. It's a very merciful thing, because there would be much less criminals who would just dare to commit crimes, because they would think of their penalty, the strong and severe penalty, fighting to death. There would be really much less criminals if such political measure would be applied. Oh yes. So this is what's happening behind the Coliseum, and what may I say? I may say nothing. Oh, the number of the tram is 13. Look, funny. Okay, as I promised, I'll show you the repair works behind the Coliseum. So, goodbye.